attachment, that's what we would consider disorganized.
When she described, what's his name, Darian as having an anxious or avoidant attachment.
Yeah.
And that seems actually closer to it because it wasn't acting that way. I'm just reminded that when I talk people, the mind and the psyche soma, in language, in precociousness, in the absence of the other, and how the mind is born in the absence of the primary caretaker. And the mom's gone, and in order to, language is one way of developing a means to reaching the outside world. And I was just curious about that, about the mom being gone, and the use of language as a mediator between internal world and external world, and what happens when you don't have that responsive figure. How do you then elicit response from people? How can you let people know what's going on with you? Where it sounds like the mom wasn't particularly attuned, or didn't have the capacity to regulate herself. But that's what I thought when that story came up. About
I think I had a similar thought about, achieving contact through this, after an absence, achieving it through this.
Well, and whether it's right or wrong, and I believe it to be right, but let's just think about the development of the mind. So, once you're born, everything is, you're not automatically fed. You've got to wail and cry to get the breast or the bottle. And so what you're saying is, in that absence of when you, for the first time now, are not getting, you have to do something to satisfy yourself, at least try to satisfy yourself. So you begin to fantasize about the breast, let's just call it the breast. And then that's creating mind, because that's where the fantasy is creating. And then as you get older, you're able to tolerate that fantasy, to be satisfied by that fantasy for longer and longer periods of time. Then eventually you have to put words to the fantasy. And then the words help satisfy you for longer and longer periods of time. All of us eventually need to eat. So you can only go so far in fantasy. But you can understand the importance of moving people towards words, because it really is one of the best ways to allow for and to create fantasy, and to sustain us and to satisfy us in times when we're not getting what we want, which is a good portion of our lives.
But what are we to make of, my thought that quickly after that was like, so these two children are really regressed in their language by default. The mother leaves and they get better. So that's kind of scary, right? I don't know.
She may not have been giving them enough space to create mind.
Yeah.
But they had obviously created it enough. Because it's not like they could do it that, maybe just not with her.
Yeah.
Maybe not when she and Rhea were in the room together.
And what might the mom respond to? What kind of cues from them would she respond to? Would she respond to any language from them? When they were together, what kinds of ways did they have of communicating or being together?
Yeah, perhaps it wasn't the most appropriate way of communicating with the mother. It wasn't useful to use the full sentences.
Well, they hit each other with toys, right? Is that what she was saying?
Yeah, that's the original reason for the referral. The boys would hit, play with each other and hit each other.
I think that also happens that when the caregiver is away, the kids have to mature in a quick way because they know they can kill each other, so they don't. Just because of that very simple difference. So they might behave better because no one is going to stop them. And so they speak better, they do what they really can do.
Those 2 or 3 days, the uncle might have really required language. Whereas mom might spend more time trying to figure out what they need.
I would like to hear you talk more about, you're talking with adolescents about working with parents, but then going in and trying to somehow, so pretext is teaching a parent how to connect to a child. That wasn't the only thing that she was doing, but it was basically fostering an attachment between child and parent. And what you know, what if the parent doesn't have an attachment to a child?